Welcome everybody back to All About Articulation, where we do a deeper dive into the articulation of some of your favorite action figures while glossing over things like sculpt, paint apps, character history, because I suck at that. And there are already so many great reviews on YouTube who do that already, so why waste your time? Okay, today we're looking at the Mcfarlane Toys Fortnite figure. This is the Prisoner. El Prisonorio. That's not a real word. Quick thoughts, I know nothing about any of the Fortnite characters. I never played Fortnite in my life. I'm just an action figure, addict, junkie. And I saw this guy on some webpage somewhere, and I'm just like, that looks so badass. And I was already pretty familiar with Mcfarlane toys in general. I bought a couple of figures just here and there. I just did the review for a Bloodshot and back, really liked them. I bought a couple of just random figures, and the overall quality of the Mcfarlane figures, in terms of articulation, is pretty good. I like it a lot for $20 figures. You can't really go wrong. So I took the gamble, bought this guy, and I really like him. He's got, like, first of all, a couple of quick thoughts. His face has got kind of like a Thanos vibe to it, doesn't it? He kind of looks like Thanos, which is really cool. The sculpt, which, we will gloss over, and we're not going to ignore sculpt and accessories and paint completely, but the sculpt is just remarkable. All right, I mean, from the little bit I know, he's got a bunch of accessories, as all Fortnite characters from the Mcfarlane line do have. This knife actually is not his. I just thought it looked really cool. This knife actually came with Bloodshot, so if you want this knife, you have to get him. And another shout out to that figure. It came with these two handguns, which are phenomenal. The machine gun, which you can always use for other figures, and there's a really sick looking knife. I love this knife, so I just put it on this dude here. This is some badass hunter. All right, and he comes with he comes with an alternate head, but that alternate head's like all wacky looking. Didn't like it, so I keep him in the box. And he comes with this really cool X. All right, so let's do a quick measurement. He comes with this this foot stand too. So real quick, let's get out the tape measure. He stands at he would stand. How about I put him on here? Okay, so I'm going to include the measurement, or offset the measurement of the foot stand, and the figure itself is just under 7 inches tall. Maybe 6.9, 6.85, whatever that is. He does actually stand shorter than Bloodshot, just to let you know. So he's not an extremely tall character. Intimidating to look at for sure. Wish he was a little bit taller, but I'm not going to complain. All right. So, all right. His neck has the typical Mcfarlane neck joint system, where it's two ball joints, one at the bottom of the head, one at the bottom of the neck. And in conjunction, it gets a lot of range. However, he is wearing this sort of collar piece that does hinder his neck articulation. So one thing I did, and you guys can try that too, is that this is the neck piece, and I actually turned it around. I noticed that it's sculpted in a way where there's more articulation one way and less articulation another way. So what I mean is that if you turn this neck piece around backwards, he gets more head articulation, where he can now look upwards. And not too much down movement, which I can live with. So that's as far down as he can look, standing straight. But he can look much further up. Out of the box, with that neck piece turned right side front, or the proper way, he can barely get his head past this point. But because I turned that neck piece around, now he can look up and look down enough where, it gets the job done. So that's just one little thing you can do. Just FYI, if you're not happy with the neck articulation of this figure out of the box, turn that neck piece around, and then you get a lot more head up articulation, which then, you can put him into some more hunched over poses. for, you know, your scenes and your dioramas or whatever the hell you're doing with your toys. All right, he does have these weird ice sculpture type things on his shoulders, but it doesn't get into the way of his articulation too much. So, arms spread out in a wingspan, hot tub position, in his hot tub pose, he can go that far. There you go. There you go. Not bad. It's not butterfly joints. It's just ball joints. It's just a ball socket. But there's articulation, butterfly articulation sculpt, but you don't get too much butterfly movement. So I don't know. It's not technically a butterfly joint. It's just a ball joint. But there's not much movement there. All right, they tried. Double jointed elbows. Oh, bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. And he gets a good, I want to say, 70 degrees, 60 degrees. Even with all that, you know, armor on, he still gets a good amount of bend, which I do appreciate. The wrist articulation, unfortunately, is completely lacking because of all the armor on both arms. And yeah, for both arms, it's the same in terms of the armor doesn't hinder the elbow articulation, but it does hinder the wrist articulation. It turns and swivels, it just doesn't bend. Can't do it. All right. He only has one ab crunch joint at the bottom of his what do you call it? At the bottom of his waist. No upper diaphragm articulation, but it's fine. It doesn't really hinder the crunch. There's his crunch. Standing straight up. There's his crunch. And there's his back extension. So it does the job. He has this really sort of, I wouldn't say hard plastic, not soft either. It's, think a Marvel Legends cape, you know? If you collect Marvel Legends, you'll know what I mean. And what I did though was that this piece here, it came together like that out of the box. And his legs could only articulate that much. It couldn't move because of this thick, semi-hard, rigid plastic skirt. So I just took an X-Acto knife and just made a 1-inch slit just up to the top of that piece there. So now, instead of this, it's open like that. And now he could open up his legs, you know, do more poses. He could get into more of a stance. And for me, just makes the figure that much more enjoyable without really destroying or ruining the aesthetic of the figure by cutting anything off. I just created more of a separation, which made it that much better for me. So now, yeah, he could, you know, extend his legs out that much. He could do a split like any other Mcfarlane figure, but the rest of the split will be hindered by the remaining piece of the skirt. I cut nothing off the skirt, just FYI. The skirt is exactly the same as it came. I just created that extra slit. Double jointed knees, which gives great range, typical Mcfarlane. And the ankle. For all the articulation that was lacking in the wrist, we get it back in the ankle. So, I guess, and we got toe articulation. So, yeah. It's the great ankle wrist articulation system that a lot of imports use, and Mcfarlane uses as well. It's that ball swivel hinge type deal. You get, you know, pivot, you get up, down, all sorts of movement with the toe articulation. So, love this figure. Know nothing about him. Just an intimidating looking badass dude. For $20, man, definitely worth the value. Definitely worth the purchase. You could just kind of add him to. You can add him to your collection as any sort of, I don't know, villain, anti-hero, whatever you want to call it. Good purchase. All right. Peace out.